The time has come to finally review the film which is my favourite thriller action movie, and the film which stars my favourite role of my favourite actor. Everyone, Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for a brand new movie review today, and this time it's going to be for what is the first installment, and also what I would regard as my personal favourite of one of my favourite franchises of all time, and this would have to be as well my favourite thriller franchise of all time, and this film being my favourite action thriller movie of all time. This is one of my favourite films of all time, and it of course is none other than 2014's John Wick. So, when it comes, of course, to how this film was made, and so this was, of course, directed by Chad Stahelski, who, of course, is a stuntman who has gone on to direct movies, and it was written by Derek Kolstad, and, of course, starred my favourite actor, Keanu Reeves, as the title character, John Wick, who is a retired hitman. So the script by Kolstad drew on his interest in action, revenge, and neo-noir films, and the producer, Basil Iwanik, purchased the rights as his first independent film production. And Keanu Reeves' career was sadly declining, but he did, however, like the script, and he recommended the experienced stunt choreographers Chad Stahelski and David Leitch direct the action scenes. And then after that, Stahelski and Leitch then successfully lobbied to co-direct the movie. Filming then began in October 2013 on a $20 to $30 million budget, and it finished by December. And Stahelski and Leitch also focused on highly choreographed and long single takes to convey action, which was eschewing the rapid cuts and close-up shots of contemporary action films. And the film was then, of course, released on October 24th of 2014, and following a successful marketing campaign that changed its perception from disposable entertainment to prestige event, helmed by an affable leading actor, the film exceeded box office projections and became a modest success, grossing $86 million worldwide. It received generally positive reviews for its style and action sequences, and it was also hailed as a comeback for Keanu Reeves in a role that played to his acting strengths. And the film's mythology of a criminal underworld with rituals and rules was praised as its most unique and interesting feature. And it's since gone to be a successful franchise as a result of it. And many retrospective assessments have identified the film to be among the best action films ever made. It is also seen as having revitalised the genre and popularised long single takes with choreographed detailed action. When it comes to my reaction to this film then, so I watched this film several years ago, I think it was probably I think about 2020 around that time, because it was a film I really wanted to watch when it first came out, but because I was unfortunately 1 year younger than 15 when it came out, I was unfortunately too young to go see it at a cinema, so I waited till it came on television, and when I gave it a watch, my mind was absolutely blown, because this film, to me, is absolutely phenomenal, and is most definitely one of my favourite films of all time, and is most definitely as well my favourite in a franchise, and my favourite action thriller film ever made. I just absolutely love this movie, and with every rewatch, my love for it grows even more, and it's just an absolute blast from start to finish. And considering this October will be 10 years old, in my opinion, it's aged beautifully. So, what is the movie about then? So of course, this film, of course, follows the legendary retired assassin John Wick, who is played by my favourite actor Keanu Reeves, who was retired from his violent career after marrying his wife Helen. So after, of course, she unfortunately dies, her sudden death leaves John in deep mourning, but she's able to gift him one last thing, which is, of course, a pet puppy called Daisy. And then, unfortunately, the sadistic mobster called Yusuf Tarso, played by Alfie Allen, and his folks then steal John's prized car, and they kill the puppy that was the last gift from his wife. John then unleashes his remorseless killing machine within and seeks revenge. And meanwhile, Yusuf's father, played by Mikhail Nyqvist, may he rest in peace, who is John's former colleague, puts a huge bounty on John's head. So, what's great about this film then is that I think it has a really great cast of actors. So when it comes, of course, to John Wick himself, I regard him as the best role I've seen for my favourite actor, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, I love in everything that he's in, and John Wick, to me, is his best role. And I can definitely see why it's regarded as a comeback for him, because it is unfortunately true that several of his films before this film didn't do well at the box office, which is a massive shame. But this film definitely helped to revitalise his career, and because I think his performance as John in this was absolutely phenomenal. And if you guys are asking what my favourite scene is in this film, it's definitely the scene where John declares to Viggo, or who of course is Michael Knightley's villain character, that he's back. Like, that scene I could watch every day and never get bored of it all day. Just an absolutely phenomenal scene and proof that he's a great actor. And it's also why I defend him from criticisms of him that he apparently can sound wooden and bland in his roles. I think in that scene, it shows that he really can act and put a lot of effort into giving an amazing speech. And in this film, he really put so much effort into the character. And as a fun fact as well, guys, he also confirmed himself, Keanu Reeves, that he does 90% of the stunts in this, which is definitely incredible because in this film, guys, when it came out, he would have been 50 years old. Like, considering he was 50 and he did all those stunts, that's just absolutely incredible. Then again, but Keanu Reeves doesn't look like his age at all. He looks so youthful for his age, which is amazing. And when it comes as well to other characters, I definitely as well really love Michael Knightley, may he rest in peace, as the film's main villain, Viggo Tarasov. I think he definitely did a really great job playing Viggo, and I definitely would regard him as my favourite John Wick villain of all time. I really love the dynamic between him and John, how they're former colleagues, and his son, of course, has ended up being embroiled in a revenge plan from John because he killed his dog and stole his car. So I definitely really love Viggo's story in this. And speaking of Yusuf, who is his son, I definitely really loved Alfie Allen's performance as Yusuf Tarasov in this. I think he did a really great job playing him. He's a very good actor, Alfie Allen, and I think in this he did a very good job playing Yusuf Tarasov. And also as well, when it comes to other supporting characters, when it comes to allies of John, we of course meet several of his allies in this who are part of the criminal underworld. One of them is of course the mechanic Aurelio, who is the one who owns a high-end chop shop, and he is unfortunately played by an actor I despise, which is John Leguizamo, and he's an absolute disgrace in my opinion as a person, but for what it is worth, Aurelio is thankfully for me a lot more likeable than John Leguizamo is, because of how loyal he is to John, especially how he punches Yusuf when he finds out that he killed John's dog. So I definitely liked how he was loyal to John in that sense, but it's unfortunately he's played by a disgrace of an actor, and thankfully he's only in a couple of scenes of starter film anyway, so you won't get much on him in this anyway. In the second film, he unfortunately plays a bit more, but I still appreciate that the character was more likeable than John Leguizamo is. And I also definitely really love the characterization of the Continental Hotel in New York City, because this film definitely introduces lots of really cool lore in a criminal underworld through the inclusion of the Continental Hotels, where of course criminals can stay, but there's an important rule in which they're not allowed to conduct business on company grounds, and by that, of course, I mean no killings on company grounds. So I definitely really love the lore in that, really. It's just really fascinating. And I definitely really love the casting as well of Ian McShane as the manager of the hotel, Winston. I definitely really love Winston in this, played by Ian McShane. Definitely my favourite role of his. I think he's a very interesting character, and you can tell there's lots of story for him when, of course, he and John reunite in the Continental after such a long time. I definitely really love that. And when it comes, of course, to other staff from the hotel, I definitely really love the addition of who is my second favourite character in the franchise after John himself, which is Sharon, who is easily my favourite role of the legendary actor, one of my favourites, Lance Reddick, may he rest in peace. Lance Reddick was such a great actor who we sadly lost way too soon last year, but Sharon will always be my favourite role of his, the very loyal hotel receptionist who is just a great character, a very loyal concierge. And I definitely love the scenes in this where he interacts with John as a very loyal concierge to a hotel. Just such a really cool character in my opinion. Yeah, it's a shame we lost Lance Reddick way too soon. Rest in peace to him. And when it comes to supporting villains, I definitely really love the addition of Adrian Palacki as Miss Perkins, who is a ruthless and highly skilled hit woman who's staying at a hotel at the same time as John. And she's actually willing to break the Continental rules to kill John for a higher paying of a bounty. And she even as well, of course, breaks the rule by killing, of course, the bodyguard called Harry, who's keeping a prisoner after John defeats her. And I think I'll probably regard as my favourite role of Adrian Palacki as well. And I also as well definitely really love the addition of a legendary Willem Dafoe, one of my favourite actors, as Marcus, who is of course John's old friend, who's a skilled sniper shooter. And I definitely really love the scenes in this where he interacts with John, and Willem Dafoe is always a pleasure to watch on the screen, just a phenomenal actor. And I regard Marcus as one of his best roles, absolutely. And And there's other good supporting characters in this too, such as, for example, who is the gangster working with Yusuf called Victor, played by Toby Leonard Moore, and also as well Dean Winters as Vigo's attorney Harvey, and also though Helen, John's wife, who's played by Bridget Moynihan. She does a great job playing Helen, making a very lovable character towards John. And you can definitely feel how sad John is because he lost her, because of how good of a character she is in the video clips you see of her with John. And also as well, when it comes to other sporting characters, I also definitely love Daniel Bernhardt as Kirill, who is the former Russian military commander, who is one of the henchmen in this. Daniel Bernhardt is in my opinion, a great stuntman, and it's really cool that he appeared in this. Definitely really cool time in this. It's definitely a worthy addition because of how great he's at doing his stunts. And aside from a great cast of characters, one highlight of this film for me is most definitely the action, because the action in this film is just absolutely fantastic, and I definitely think it was revolutionary for the action movie genre, because it introduced so many really cool techniques which were just so much fun. And I think the action scenes definitely help the pacing go really well, because this film is 101 minutes, and in my opinion, the pacing is fantastic, mainly because of action scenes. Like, you never get bored whatsoever, and even in the scenes you get where there's not really action happening, it's just drama, it's still, in my opinion, very suspenseful and intense, and still a pleasure to watch, because of how great it's acted, and the pacing is done so well. This film never gets boring whatsoever, in my opinion, and the action scenes in particular are just so mind-blowing, in my opinion. Just one of the reasons why I consider this film to be absolutely awesome. And if you guys would ask me what my favourite action scene is, it's most definitely the fight scene in the club. Like, that fight scene I could watch all day. Oh, it's just absolutely incredible. I just love that scene. And in terms of this film being a revenge story, I of course also love the scene where John finally gets his revenge on the Tarasovs for killing his dog. Just a very satisfying scene right there. And as for Tarasov, I was rooting for John to kill Aosa the most, because he's the one who ordered the henchman to kill his dog. So that was just really satisfying. Like, I think Alex Allen did a really great job making use of such a despicable character in this, and it made it so satisfying to see John kill him. And I also, as I said, I also really love the law that this film introduces with Underworld. I think it's brilliant, really. Like the Continental Hotel, for example, and also Aurelio's Chop Shop. And also as well the addition of a Continental Doctor who works, you know, healing criminals, who's actually is all played by Randall Duck Kim. And what's cool is Keanu Reeves, Randall Duck Kim, and Daniel Bernhardt have actually been in the Matrix films before this, which is really cool. So it's pretty cool we reunited in this. Then in the second and third and fourth, they of course got John by Lawrence Fishburne, which is pretty cool. And another highlight of this film for me is also the music. I definitely really love the music in this, which is composed by Tyler Bates and Joel J. Richard. Like, I just really think the music in this was amazing to listen to. I especially love the music which is called John Wick Mode, or the John Wick Anthem, we want to call it. It's definitely a very suspenseful theme, which fits the idea of like a thriller action film. Just brilliant, really. Very suspenseful and a lot of fun to listen to. And I also, as well, definitely really loved the songs in this, which are by a DJ called La Castlevania. Especially as well, what is probably my favourite John Wick soundtrack of all time, which is Shots Fired. I definitely really love the song Shots Fired. I listen to it pretty much every day, really. It's just a sick song. And I especially love how it came back in Chapter 4 as well, in the Paris shootout scene. So I love how that song was able to come back to a franchise later on, alongside the main theme. So I think that was brilliant, really. And another great thing about this film as well, besides, you know, great cast, great story and action and music, is also the feel of satisfaction, because this film, of course, is a revenge story. And of course, John's able to, of course, get his revenge by killing the Tarasovs responsible for the death of his dog. Like, it's just so satisfying, really, when you see him finally kill them. It's just brilliant, really. And of course, the film also has a very open ending, which could set up more to come, because John's able to adopt a pit bull puppy who is about to be euthanized at a nearby clinic where he's treating his wounds. And of course, he walks off. And it can then, of course, be assumed that after this, he's about to, of course, go and get his car back. Which, of course, he would then do, of course, in Chapter 2 afterwards in this franchise. And so when it comes, of course, to, in summary then, I just really absolutely love this movie from start to finish. If you guys want to see a very satisfying revenge and thriller movie, I would definitely recommend this strongly, because it's just so mind-blowing and just revolutionary for the action genre, in my opinion. So, guys, this is me, of course, doing my review for 2014's John Wick. So, if I was to give this movie a score out of 10, I would definitely give this movie a full-blown 10 out of 10, because I absolutely love this movie from start to finish. if you guys want to see this film, then please give it a watch. It's phenomenal in my opinion. I can't recommend it enough. So, this was me, of course, doing my review for 2014's John Wick. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to vote in the comments what you guys think of John Wick. If you've seen it, in the comments below what you think of it. Also, be sure to join Team Fan Press and subscribe to come in future. And be seeing you.